teen finds out anonymous internet bully who has been harassing her for a year is actually her mom. Like, literally the worst situation ever. A recent study came out that couples that do unhealthy activities together, like eating junk food, feel closer together than those who do healthy activities.
They actually found that if you do the thing that you enjoy first, you're actually happier than if you do it last.
Number 4 is his favorite place ever, Chipotle.
We go to, that's like, what do they call it, fast casual? People go there on dates, like first dates.
A study at the University of Michigan revealed that every can of Coca-Cola that you drink could take away 12 minutes of your life. Why is she getting in trouble for accidentally exposing his double life? In what world does that make any sense?
Welcome back to the He's Wrong, She's Right podcast. I'm Andrew. This is Nona. And today we're just kind of phoning it in. We need Nona doesn't like getting ready only for like one thing. So we need to do like multiple things, not just podcast related, but just in general. If Nona has to get ready for work, she wants to go out to dinner. If Nona has to get ready for the podcast, she wants to either do multiple or go out on a date or something. So this is our phoning it in before we record a really good episode here in a little bit. That'll be coming out this week as well. The order, I don't know. So if you're watching this after it comes out, you know how it worked. If you're watching it before it comes out, now you know how it works. Would you agree?
No, I strongly disagree with everything that you just said, but okay.
So you said that you had a question, a scenario, or something that you wanted to kick it off with? Something that you saw?
No, I did not say I was going to kick it off with that at all. I was going to end with it, but okay.
No, kick it off.
No, that's okay. So I guess you don't have anything prepared for this episode, so I'm just pulling shit out of my...
Okay, so let me, while she's bringing that up, there is a reason. Right now, as we're filming this, so if depending on when this comes out, you'll understand, all the fires are raging in California. The only other things that are trending are playoff football, both college and NFL. And by the time this episode comes out, college football games will have been over. So, and the NFL, I don't watch. So there's not really a lot of other trending topics right now that people care about or searching for. We have no insight on the fires other than what we see because we're on the East Coast, not the West Coast. We're not affected by that. So yeah, we're filling this in. We're going to try and be as funny and bring something to the table. I have a couple of things that we could talk about. Some things that I think are maybe interesting, insightful information for our audience as well. Go for it.
A recent study came out that couples that do unhealthy activities together, like eating junk food, feel closer together than those who do healthy activities. We started our relationship by going to the gym together every day, and now we certainly don't do that anymore.
Well, we go to the gym independently. You just went the last couple of days, and you're back at...
We're talking about together.
I know.
We don't do that together. We haven't gone to the gym together in over 2 years. The only things that we do together are this podcast and occasionally watching a movie together on the couch. It's very minimal at best.
And we've been traveling recently.
Okay. According to the study, sharing indulgent moments such as enjoying fast food or snacks often creates a sense of camaraderie and mutual enjoyment, whereas doing things physically in the healthy aspect almost can build a resentment towards the other person. And I can kind of see that. Like, there were a few times that we would work out together and you were not very nice. So, and I certainly was not receptive to your not niceness.
I was reading this study a couple weeks ago about reward-based, like, training, conditioning, both for humans and dogs, things like that. And there was something actually interesting about how you would go about rewarding somebody so that they want to continue that behavior. And I'm trying to remember exactly how they were. Basically, it was, you know how people always say that like they want to do the good thing or like the easy thing last. They want to do the hard thing or the thing they don't like first. Like a task, something you're doing at work. Maybe you have chores at the house or something like that, and you have chores that you're like, oh, I enjoy doing this, but I hate these. They actually found that if you do the thing that you enjoy first, you're actually happier than if you do it last. So people think, oh, I'll do the chore that I like or the activity that I like last to like end my day, and I'll end my day on a high note. But because the thing that you didn't like came before, you went into that activity with a more negative mindset. But if you start with doing the thing that you do like, you end up not necessarily liking the thing that you disliked more, but you're going to end your day or the activity on a higher note.
You already lost me, but okay. It's really throwing me off having the monitor over here, by the way. And
I'm trying to avoid.
I'm trying to actually remember to look at the cameras, and it's just throwing me. And yeah, so for those of you who are 5% viewers who actually view instead of just listen, that's why I keep looking all over the place, because he put the monitor over here for the first time ever, and it's just really messing me up. Anyways, I have the top 5 worst places to take your date according to women of America. I'll say of America because these are definitely American restaurants. Okay. Can you guess the number 1 place?
So this is all national chains, nothing local.
Correct.
The worst place.
Worst place. Number 1 worst place.
Target.
When was the last time you ate at a Target?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Carrabba's?
It's actually not on the list. Shockingly.
Then Olive Garden?
Olive Garden is number 5. Because when you're here, you're family. So, for reference,
Golden Corral.
Oh, that would be terrible. I'm actually shocked that that's not on the list.
Well, you know why that's on my mind? Because our cab driver in Puerto Rico.
Oh, he said that Golden Corral was his favorite restaurant, but he hadn't been to one.
Not the one that we were just talking about that drove us back and forth. There was one, a local, or not even cab driver. He was the shuttle driver.
Yeah, he was the shuttle driver at the resort. But he said he hadn't been to one in like 10 years or something. But he like was dreaming about it or something really random. Okay. So just for a reference, the number 1 on the spot we actually don't even have in Wilmington.
Okay, so I was literally thinking
but
here.
You definitely had one up in Indiana, because you guys had a lot more chains up there than we do down here.
I wouldn't say a lot more. I would say different.
Okay. All right. Number 5 on the list, you already guessed, Olive Garden. Number 4 is his favorite place ever, Chipotle.
People go to, that's like, what do they call that, fast casual? People go there on dates, like first dates? Or is this,
this is first
people on a budget? Or
this is first, women ranked this as worst first date spots.
With no other qualifiers? Is there an age demographic?
Just worst first date spots. Number 4 is Chipotle. Number 3 is Chili's. Have you ever taken a girl to Chili's with you? He took me to Chipotle. I was butthurt about that, so he did a number 4.
I didn't take you there as a first date.
You're right. It wasn't a first. It wasn't a first date, but I was kicking and screaming the whole time.
It's better than everything else around.
That's not fucking true. It's disgusting. All right.
It's the only one.
Number 2 is Applebee's. Okay. When was you said the last time you went to Applebee's was with your dad?
Yeah.
Did you ever take a girl there?
I don't think.
You didn't answer about Chili's. Did you ever take a girl there?
I don't remember the last time. I don't remember, like, really, the only times I've ever been to those places were, like, with my family growing up or, like,
I could
in
see
high
that.
school.
Yeah.
So I don't remember.
All right. The number one spot is Cheesecake Factory, which we don't have one in Wilmington, but they're in, like, bigger cities. I know there's one in Raleigh. There's one, or outside of Raleigh.
There used to be one.
There's one in Charlotte. There's not anymore.
No, it's like a comedy club now.
That's random. What happened to it? Usually they're like hopping.
I don't know. The part of town that it was in, I did drive you past there, but you probably wouldn't really remember. It's like, it's called the 100 Center. It's just a really old shopping center.
Okay.
It's where the original Hacienda restaurant is and some other stuff like this. Think of it'd be like where Henry's is. It's kind of like a place like that.
Okay.
So it's nothing like super fancy. It's not around anything else.
That's weird because Cheesecake Factory is like always attached to like a mega mall, which is, we don't have a mega mall here. And that's kind of why there's not a Cheesecake Factory here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. I don't think I've ever seen like a standalone Cheesecake Factory ever.
I mean, it was in like it's like an industrial, or it used to be like some sort of warehouse or something. I don't know what it was. Like way back, even before that. And I don't even remember the last time it was Cheesecake Factory. I had to have been like in school when it was.
Oh, damn. Okay. All right. Next thing, University of Michigan study. So I am only adding this because he loves some University of Michigan. Okay. A study at the University of Michigan revealed that every can of Coca-Cola that you drink could take away 12 minutes of your life.
It's like meta-analysis stuff.
It just came out, by the way.
Yeah, is that what it says? Say is a meta-analysis, or what does it say? Mm-mm. So typically what they do is they find common key identifiers between several other studies. Like, everyone that died of heart disease and everyone that died of stroke and everyone that died of this specific cancer or whatever, and then they look at the dietary habits of all of those people across all of those studies, and then they find the key thing between all of them, and then they do a study on that specifically.
Okay.
I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying that's what I would assume. How else would they get that information?
I have no idea, but I only added it for you.
Realistic, like, I don't know, because I don't drink Coke, but I know that all those companies have and continue to kind of like change their formula, changing different things for different reasons. But for somebody to actually determine that, you lost 3 days off of your life from Coke, that study would have to go like all the way back to the 50s. You would have to find somebody that literally drank a Coke a day.
And here's the thing about doing that, though. I bet the ingredients have drastically changed in the last 50 years.
So I was just saying the formula's changed. So
I'm sorry. I was reading ahead to what I was going to talk about next. I was not paying attention to what you were saying at all. All right. So I know you don't watch like morning shows or anything like that, but it was announced, I feel like it was mid-fall time, that Hoda Kotb from the Today Show announced that she was retiring. I believe.
What's her name?
Hoda Kotb.
I didn't know she had a last name.
Oh.
There was I remember, what was it, like Kathy Lee something, and
Kathy Lee and Hoda.
But there was a woman before her that she replaced.
That Hoda replaced?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh gosh, that was a while ago, so I can't remember. Anyways, so Jenna Bush Hager is who replaced Kathy Lee.
Who's that?
Jenna Bush, as in Bush's daughter.
Oh, like
George Bush's daughter, Jenna.
Okay.
So Hager is her married last name.
I didn't know he had a
but
daughter.
that's why she's Jenna Bush Hager. Anyways, she announced that Scarlett Johansson is going to replace Hoda Kotb. So that'll be probably one of the first like movie stars on morning TV, right? We've had regular like TV stars like Kelly Ripa. Wasn't she like on what are those soaps? for several years before she moved to daytime TV, right?
Sure. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just that, which obviously is like before our time, but Scarlett Johansson, if she does actually do this, I mean, it was announced as an official press release that she will be co-hosting in Hoda Kotb's place with Jenna Bush Hager. That'll be like the first movie star on morning TV.
Sounds like she's giving up on acting.
That was kind of my first thought, but then I also remembered her husband is on SNL and they live right there in New York City. So maybe she's wanting to live more of a mom, New York City kind of schedule. Does that make sense? Like, don't they have one or two children together and probably entering preschool at this point?
I don't know anything about her or her family. So.
She's maybe moving away from the crazy schedule of, being gone for months at a time filming movies to more of like a routine Monday through Friday schedule. I don't know. It makes sense to me. As a mom, it makes sense to me.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyways, I thought it was interesting.
You didn't like the last movie that we watched with her in it?
What was the last movie that we watched with her?
The Area 51.
That was the last movie that we watched with her, and it wasn't called Area 51.
I know. I don't remember what it was called.
It was terrible. We watched it 2 years ago. It came out, or we watched it the same night that I took the girls to
here.
No, we watched it the same night that I took the girls to see the Barbie movie, which came out summer of 2023. So a year and a half ago is when we watched it, and had come out before that. It was like Astro City or something like that. It was terrible.
Asteroid City.
Whatever. It was terrible. Worst movie ever. And I don't think that was the last movie that we watched with her. All right. The next thing that I was going to talk about is pretty terrible. Teen finds out anonymous internet bully who has been harassing her for a year is actually her mom. Like, literally the worst situation ever.
How'd she find that out?
When one teen from Mount Pleasant, Michigan started receiving online hate, she could never have guessed the culprit. It was the victim's mom, Kendra Gale Lecreshi. She was charged in December following a year-long investigation, which began with Beale City Schools receiving a complaint about cyberbullying. It was Lecreshi's daughter and the boy her daughter was seeing at the time who were the victims of the harassment. So Lecreshi worked with the boy's mother and school officials to figure out who was behind it. So it was police investigators who found out that it was her own mom was her own cyberbully. Like, that is fucking terrible. Terrible. That's it. Just
don't give your kids access to stuff. Don't put... It's shit that her mom would do that. I kind of wonder what the actual... Like, what was she actually doing?
It sounded like trying to break up her and the boyfriend.
And how old is she?
High school. Oh. It didn't give ages, just said high school.
Gotcha. The other movie that we watched her, and the only other recent movie that she's been in, is the one with Channing Tatum that we just watched.
Yeah, that one was good. Fly Me to the Moon.
Yeah.
I knew that Asteroid City wasn't the last movie that we had watched. I knew you were wrong. We just watched Fly Me to the Moon like a month ago.
Sure.
It was pretty good.
That's all you think about it. It's just pretty good.
It was way better than the other terrible movie. The other movie was awful. So if I had to compare the two, I would watch Fly Me to the Moon.
I thought it was funny.
No, it was terrible. So Matt Rife, you know who that is?
Okay. Comedian guy?
Yeah.
I don't know any of his stuff, but...
Yeah, I don't really... he got canceled a while ago, but people still follow and listen to him. Anyways, He says that his drastic change in his look is because of delayed puberty. He's like our age. And he's claiming that he's had a major glow up in the last like 2 years. And now he looks like fucking shit with his dyed blonde hair. But he's claiming that he had delayed puberty for like 15 years post when you're actually supposed to go through puberty as to why his face looks so different. No, the guy has definitely had like fillers and here, I guess I'll try and find a side by side. Let's see.
So if he was on any sort of like hormone suppressants, that could potentially be true, but I mean, he looked like an adult before.
Look at what he looked like before and now what he looks like. There before, now. And that's like a 5-year difference between these and these. This is not like a 50 here. Like, look at, there's no jawline, there's no muscle definition, nothing. And now he has a fully defined jawline. He clearly has like an implant in his chin. He has, it's like.
No, I don't think he does.
Yes, 100% does. You are delusional for, let's see, you guys, there we go. See the.
They can't see that. It's way too small. If they're watching on a phone, it's going to look like your pinky.
Okay, whatever. But yeah, he wrote it in his book that it was from a delayed puberty. And you believe that?
I don't know that it's delayed puberty, but that is a possibility. There's nothing dramatic changed with his facial structure.
Oh my God, you're delusional.
He gained muscle mass and definition.
And
that's not. There's nothing different with his chin. Those aren't even the same facial expression. So you're evaluating facial expression on somebody who has a little bit of baby fat in their face versus somebody who lost body fat percentage and has a more defined facial features. His cheekbones still looked exactly the same. His jaw looked exactly the same.
I strongly disagree. Okay. All right. So we're just going to do a random Reddit thread of what disgusting secrets you found out about somebody.
Okay.
First one, found out a coworker was microwaving their underwear at work to freshen them after lunch breaks. It was an unpleasant revelation. It made me think twice about using the microwave ever again.
What?
When my grandfather passed away, we discovered that he did not exist. His name was not in any government registry. He was a normal citizen. He paid taxes, had a license and everything, lived a long life, married to my grandmother for over 50 years and had multiple children. Everything totally normal. Still now, no one knows who he really was and why he had a false name.
Because you can.
Because you can, says Andrew.
You can go change it for any number of reasons at any point in time. It's not free, but you can do it.
Okay. But I think what they're getting at is that he didn't legally do it. There was no documentation. There's
no documentation that they know of.
Right. A guy had a decently successful restaurant in my town. He was community oriented, donated time and money to the town, was just overall nice guy. There was something I always thought that was off or fake about him. He tried expanding and buying a new restaurant, but he needed a financial backer. They had a disagreement over something and she went missing. He took care of her son during her absence. Turns out he murdered her and buried her in a shallow grave behind a manufactured building. It really hit our town hard. Goes to show you can never trust anybody. My dad used to smoke crack and then film himself dressing up in women's clothing and doing his makeup poorly. That's not the disgusting part, though. The disgustingly funny in an absurd way is the part that when my mom found out about all that and other stuff, she found his hidden stashes of dresses and presented them to me, age 12, 13, as gifts and told me I should wear them right away and show Dad when he gets home. So I was just constantly parading around the house in my dad's crack dresses, not understanding why he was weirded out. What the fuck? That's a fucked up toxic relationship. First of all, get divorced. You're allowed to get divorced. You don't need to stay with somebody, and you don't have to stay with somebody. It's okay. You're allowed to get divorced.
I'm pretty sure it's worse what she did to her daughter, but
right. All of it's terrible, but step 1 is separate. Step 2, move on with your life.
okay.
After my husband died in 2020, I found out that he had been having an affair with a 30-year-old. He was 55 when he passed away. She apparently aborted his baby. Everything he told me about his prior life was a lie. Second marriage for both of us. And he had been having sex with men since he was in his early 20s. To sum it up, I didn't know this man at all. We had been together for 10 years and married for 6. And then a commenter for it was, I'm 39 and all I can think is who the hell has this kind of energy? This amount of effort mind boggles me. Do you have that time and energy to be living a whole separate life?
Nope. I don't even have the time and energy to do what I need to do to make this podcast successful all the time. So,
yeah, same.
Yeah. On that note, if you made it this far, you should like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell us what you hate, tell us what you like, do all those things.
I hate that you moved the monitor right there.
Click all those links. Click all the stuff. Do all the nonsense. Everything that's recommended for you to do. You should do that for us, please. Thank you. Share it. Add us to a playlist. That's a new one. I'm gonna start throwing in there. Click the save or whatever button, depending on the platform you're on. Little bookmark icon. Bookmark it. Save it. See if that's a good indicator for the algorithm for whether or not people like us. Do it. Yeah. So on that note, the thing that I wanted to bring up was the whole like influencer marketing, advertising, and everything like that. I've said for years, and I know I've said this to you, I've probably said it on the podcast about various different like sponsors and stuff for not just podcasters, but YouTubers, influencers in general, that they don't vet, especially if it's outside of like their wheelhouse. Like a tech company, like LTT or whatever, should, because they have the people and the knowledge, they should do their due diligence on any sort of tech, IT, whatever service.
So what happened? What are you getting at? That something happened?
Everybody's heard about have you ever heard of Honey? Mm-hmm. Okay, so they were purchased by PayPal a couple years ago. And ever since then...
Yeah, I heard that they were like stealing people's information.
Well, maybe, but also maybe. The biggest thing that came of that is any of those shopping extensions that you have in your browser or on your phone or whatever that looks for coupon codes or whatever, they were doing 2 things. The first thing they were doing is they were taking, so somebody would go to, like we have the referral links in our descriptions. Somebody clicks on the referral link and it'll automatically add either the coupon code to your cart because of your session cookies, or it'll add a query string to the URL bar that attributes that visit to that website to the person sending the traffic. So if you're on our YouTube or Spotify or whatever, and you click on one of the links to go to, I don't know, like an Amazon product, like Nick Irving's book, you go to that book and there's an affiliate code that's attached to that. It's part of the query string. If you make a purchase within a window, most platforms are 30 days. So if, say you close it, but you come back, but you're on the same device, you're still on your phone, you're still on your desktop, whatever,
right,
we will still get the attribution of the sale. Like, so we'll get a kickback for whatever that is. It's every platform, every product, everything is different. So don't ask, because literally it could be nothing. It could be $1. I don't know. It depends. So what they were doing is you would visit and then you would go to the cart page and then you would go to checkout and it would give you a pop-up or something within the page, an interstitial, or depending on, I've never used any of that stuff on my phone, so I don't know what that looks like, but
I haven't either.
It'll get there and it'll say, hey, do you want us to see if there's a better deal? And when you do that, it clears your session, resets the referral attribute. And then
so it was taking away from whoever you had originally clicked it from.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And
is that how influencers were figuring it out? Was they weren't getting paid?
Somebody else, this is all something like people like me already kind of suspected. Not necessarily, like I wasn't like thinking specifically honey, but this is something that I've suspected for a while.
Right.
Because I can look and see the traffic that we send to certain sites. And we've talked about this. If sponsors want to say, hey, you sent us X amount, I'd be like, no, we sent you Y amount.
Right.
So I've preempted that from happening to us in a lot of ways. I mean, I can't control people actually following through with the transaction within a period of time, but we can tell with a reasonable amount of certainty that if we send 100 people there, typically 25% is going to purchase.
Okay.
So they were also working deals in the background with large merchants to say, for example, there's a coupon code for 30% that's being distributed on the internet.
Okay.
Honey would only look for whatever ones the retailer specifically wanted you to use. So if there was a 20% that they're like, no, we only want people to see 20%. We don't want them to see 30%. They were not actually looking for the best deal. They were looking for the best brand or affiliate share deal with the retailer.
Okay.
Because if the retailer makes more money, Honey makes more money.
Right. So all around very scummy.
Yep.
Got it.
So they lost the guy that published the video. I've never heard of this guy before. The guy who published the video talking about it, within like 2 days or something like that, he published an update. And he was using the Internet Archive, the Wayback Machine. He showed what the Chrome store looked like, the extension store.
Okay.
They showed it was 20 million installs when he published the video, and then when he posted the update, it was 17 million. So they lost 3 million in like 2 days. Yeah.
Good.
And I mean, squeaky, 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 squeaky. That's something that, you know, corporations, like they look at the big drastic drop off, like somebody is going to get fired. So, and I'm sure they're never going to, you know, say, oh, we were doing something wrong, but they're being sued now by.
Nobody's ever going to admit to being scummy.
Yeah. The, one of the big law firm, Legal Eagle is the name on YouTube. His firm and team filed the class action lawsuit on behalf of all the YouTubers. But the problem is going to be identifying every retailer and every coupon code and the assumed value. And there's probably companies that have gone out of business that, you know, the YouTuber influencer or whatever is going to be like, oh, it was a subscription box and it was this, and now they don't exist anymore. So I don't even know what it would have been. It's going to be, I don't foresee them making a lot of money or making money back. But what I do think will happen is that it'll give case law that'll set the precedent for how this stuff works in the future. So Google's already been trying to change like how cookies and stuff like that work. It's like they're trying to kind of do the Apple thing. It's more of like a walled garden. They want like more in-house secrecy, and then that's privacy, right? Like those things, they always try to sell those two things together. People have been pushing back. It was like called Flock or something like that. People have been pushing back because the way the internet exists right now is built on that. And so to just flip the switch and transition to the other is going to be a nightmare for everybody. I'm sure some people are like, oh, it'll be more difficult for me to scam people if they switch to this. But then the other people are like, people like me are like, Now I have to go update all of my client sites and make all the changes. Like, there's no real winning here. Somebody's going to make money, obviously. Google's going to make the most of it. But the federal government's trying to make them sell off the Chrome browser.
Really?
Yep.
Why?
They said it's like unfair monopoly market advantage, something, because everything's tied in. Search is built directly in, ads and tracking and analytics. Everything is all baked into just one service. But Chromium, so Chrome is the user-facing side of it. Chromium, the project, is also handled by Google. So even if they were forced to sell off the Chrome browser, they still control Chromium. It'd be like, it's kind of like how Android works. They manage the Android open source project, which contributes to the Android operating system. So like Samsung or whoever else can make their phone look and feel however they want. And then the Pixel devices are like more aligned with what an iPhone would be to Apple. If Apple were to make iOS open source and everybody could do whatever they wanted to it, that would be kind of the same situation. So I don't know. They're working some weird deals. They're trying to like not do it. And I mean, big companies these days, they're not, I don't think it'll happen. Do you think it'll happen?
You already lost me.
Okay. But anyway, so talking about the sponsors and marketing and all of that kind of stuff. The way these different sponsor, marketing, affiliate, influencer programs work, like they're all different and everybody has their own thing that they want you to use. They want you to use their third-party analytics services. They want you to do this. They want you to do that. And they like want a little bit of control over your brand. And there's been a shift recently in the last couple of years that people are starting to move back away from cloud services. They're bringing stuff back home. They don't want their photos in Google Photos or iCloud anymore. They don't want email on Gmail anymore. They don't want all of, like, they want to bring it back. Like, corporations are bringing it back in-house. Small businesses are bringing it back in-house. For one, it's a big cost thing. AI model training and stuff like that. They don't want their data being used in any of that. Obviously marketing and advertising and stuff. But I think that with people moving back to doing stuff in-house, on-prem, whatever you want to call it, it's going to also change how marketing and advertising and stuff like that works. Because if we're working on moving our podcast to self-hosted right now, it's, for lack of a better term, it's hosted in 5 places. It's hosted on YouTube. It's hosted on Substack. It's hosted on Spotify, which does our syndication and distribution to Amazon, Apple, every app that you could possibly want to use. That the RSS feed gets sent out to Pocket Cast and Pandora and wherever else. Like, it's everywhere that you want to get it. That's coming from our Spotify RSS feed. Then you have Rumble, and then X. All of our full videos are published on X. So to bring that in-house, it'll actually simplify some things, because I can have our podcast hosting server and the Cloudflare will probably be our CDN for it. I can have that do the distribution even to YouTube. I can have it published to YouTube. I can have it published to Spotify, everywhere else, Apple, Amazon, everywhere else. And because the feed is constantly updating the content that's on those platforms, on the fly, we can change a baked-in ad without re-uploading a video. So if we had a sponsor advertiser that came in and said, hey, this is my offer right now, but it's only running until end of the month or whatever. At the end of the month, they could come out with a new deal and we can update what that is. So it's kind of an evergreen campaign, or we can completely replace it. The advertiser says, we're not a good fit, or you didn't have enough sales, or your content isn't what our customers are looking for, whatever, it doesn't matter. We can completely remove that and put something back in its place. And that also means that if down the line something that we published 6 months ago becomes viral for some reason, there's an ad in there that still can potentially make money for us. So it's more like a dynamic ad, but we control it. Yeah, nod your head, nod and smile. And yeah, they're podcasting 2.0. Yeah, we've got internet 3.0, podcasting 2.0. Everything's got to have a version number.
So all of our one listener who is still hanging on.
No, there's more.
That used to, when you first started this, be able to lead me to what I was going to talk about when I said nobody's going to admit to being scummy. And then you completely digress. So let's go back to nobody's going to admit to being scummy.
Okay.
And that'll lead me to what I was going to ask you about. This show that I randomly stumbled upon called Sold on SLC, SLC obviously being short for Salt Lake City. This guy who is an agent has apparently been leading a double life. Made me think of the Reddit a little bit, just a little bit. Very LDS Mormon, good father, good provider. I'm saying that with all the right things, all those good thumbs up. Works for a very prestigious, agency in SLC. And it came out at a fellow agent's party. She was having a Cinco de Mayo party, and she invited fellow agents and people from her personal life. And she's married to a former NFL, I don't know.
Player.
Right. I don't know what position, what team, anything. So I'm just going to say former NFL. So she had people there who she worked with and people who she knew outside of work. Somebody who she knew from outside of work came up to her and was like, my sister's a stripper, right? And she was like, yeah. And she's like, that guy over there is like her best client. And they've been together for like a year. And this all came out at a personal party, but now is being dragged through the agency with an HR nightmare, and almost the agency owner putting it on the girl who had the party for exposing him. And that was not her intention or anything. It just happened to be that two people were in the same place at once, and it came out that it's almost like she's being punished for.
Okay. Do you remember
for him leading a double life? So my question to you is two-part. Number one, do you consider seeing the same stripper, not just going? I'm specifically saying not going to a strip club, but specifically going to see one individual stripper multiple times in a year and a reoccurring stripper relationship, even if it only is inside of the strip club. Do you consider that to be cheating if you are married? Again, not just stepping foot into the strip club with your guys or even by yourself, but going with the intention of only seeing one person multiple times in a year.
Does he have permission to go?
No, the wife has no idea. Wife found out about this after.
Okay, then that's weird.
And he's been doing it for apparently 10 years. All of that came out after. So my that's my first question.
That's cheating. That's something.
It's definitely crossing the line.
Yeah.
It's definitely crossing the line.
Unless he's actually doing stuff with her, but if he's not, that's would you call it the emotional thing?
He refused to answer. He refused to answer if anything happened more than just him going to visit her. Okay. But again, it's one specific stripper multiple times just in 1 year. Okay. Let's say an average of 3 times a month. Okay. Spending thousands of dollars on her, one specific stripper again, not just in general. So yes, I would consider that to be cheating. Because again, like you said, emotional affair. Obviously, they've developed a relationship. Hers is obviously transactional. His is more than transactional because there likely was more to the story than just spending time together. And then my second question is, why the fuck should the girl be in trouble for having a party and happening to have other people who were outside of the work situation? Why is she getting in trouble for accidentally exposing his double life? In what world does that make any sense? And why is that a reoccurring theme, that exposing a man's double life and their misogyny and all of that, why is that something that she should be punished for?
Don't live there. Not involved in it, so don't know. Don't care. It's
it's a reoccurring theme throughout corporate America in general. It's the man messing up and the woman exposing it, and she's getting in trouble for exposing it. Why is that a reoccurring theme?
I don't know what to tell you.
That's why women internalize so much and are scared to speak up, whether it's accidental or on purpose. But women shouldn't be punished for speaking up.
It sounds like there's actually more to the story, but I don't know. It's all weird. Do you remember, as we close out, because we went way over the time, do you remember the merchandise that people were wearing when we were there? Because you said SLC, and I was wondering why you didn't say slut. So everything they had was SLUT, Salt Lake, Utah. You don't remember that?
It was 2 years and like 3 months ago that we were there last. We were supposed to go like 3 months ago. So
yeah, there's still stuff that you can buy. It's most of it. There's like a comma. One of them's a star. But I remember seeing people wearing that stuff.
I don't remember that.
When we were there for Warrior Rising's gala 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago.
I said 2 years and 3 months ago.
Yep.
That's when we were there last.
Yep. So. Subscribe. Hit the like button.
And don't cheat on your wives or husbands.
Sure. I mean, yes, I agree, but I'm just saying.
Sure.
Yeah, don't cheat on your husband or wife. I was trying to go out on a happy note. That's what I meant. All right, guys. Thanks. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Goodbye.